A large storm will be coming to the United States over the next few days, bringing the return of significant severe weather, which includes the threat of damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Additionally, there is a chance of seeing northern lights across a large chunk of the United States tonight because of a geomagnetic storm. So in today's forecast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know about the weather that'll be impacting the United States over the next 7 days. And we'll begin with what's happening across the country today, and things are on the quieter side of things for this beautiful Sunday. The only thing that's really happening is that we have a little bit of convection that's been spurring off here across the Dixie Alley and Texas, which could bring an isolated threat of severe weather throughout the afternoon and evening hours on Sunday. And then back over in the Great Lakes, the Northeast, we have a large low pressure system that is spinning back over in Maine, and this is actually bringing a ton of wildfire smoke out of Canada, which is making things very hazy, and that is also disrupting air quality. And over the next few days, we are expecting the wildfire smoke to continue to fill the skies across much of the Great Plains, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Even as we go into Monday, we are expecting a large plume of smoke to sit right over the Great Lakes in the Ohio Valley, so be ready for poor air quality, and if you have any respiratory issues, this could cause some problems throughout the daytime on Monday, even perhaps into Tuesday. On top of that, there's also a chance for a major geomagnetic storm tonight, and this could bring northern lights to a large chunk of the United States. Right now, the thinking is that these northern lights will be mainly visible up here in the northern plains back into New England and perhaps the Pacific Northwest, but the northern lights actually arrived about 8 hours earlier than expected or forecasted, and we actually had northern lights in the Pacific Northwest this morning, so it's unknown if we will see northern lights at this point across the vast majority of the United States. But if this geomagnetic storm re-intensifies, we could see northern lights visible even on phones and cameras as far south as areas like Texas, Oklahoma, and back through the southeast. So stay tuned to our Twitter and Facebook pages at MaxVelocityWX. We'll be posting updates this evening if northern lights are going to be visible in these areas.
Spout tornado in New Mexico on Thursday. The person who took this video said that he began it as a dust devil before spinning all the way up to the cloud base, officially making it a landspout tornado. How interesting was that? And unfortunately, throughout the day today, we're tracking that potential for seeing some more strong heavy showers and strong to severe thunderstorms, not just in eastern Tennessee from Knoxville toward Nashville, but also into parts of the Carolinas, northern tip of South Carolina, and then through right central North Carolina from Winston-Salem through Raleigh-Durham. So if you were thinking about perhaps heading out to the North Carolina Museum of Art, perhaps Pullen Park, or perhaps Marble Kids Museum, that's of course in Raleigh-Durham, make sure that you keep an eye to the sky later on this afternoon. Our bigger threat, though, is in the heart of the Lone Star State of Texas, right along I-35 and I-45 from Waco, just south of the metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth, seeing an area, this is about 30,000 square miles is the red shaded area, encompasses about 4.1 million folks, are in that danger zone for today for seeing not just large hail, perhaps upwards of egg-sized hail, but even some damaging winds and an isolated tornadic threat. You can see it's on the lowest of ends. On this scale, it's a 1 out of 5, but it's not 0. And that's the reason why it's important that if you are heading out and about, especially this afternoon and this evening, right around 3, between like 3 and 8 p.m.-ish or so, that window of time which encompasses dinner, to make sure that you're at least staying weather ready and weather prepared.
NASA is warning of solar storms and flares that could impact radio communications and power grids. The agency recently recorded an X 2.7 solar flare. That's the highest category of its kind. The sun's most active region is currently moving to face Earth, which could lead to significant space, weather, and subsequently communications disruptions.
7 people are dead following explosions in western Russia, causing 2 bridges to collapse. On Saturday, the first bridge in the Bryansk region on the border with Ukraine collapsed on top of a passenger train. At least 7 people were killed and dozens were injured. Just hours later, officials said a second train derailed when the bridge beneath it collapsed in the nearby Kursk region, which also borders Ukraine. Russian investigators say they're treating the bridge collapses as potential acts of terrorism.
Now let's turn to some breaking news in the last half hour. And Ukraine claims to have hit more than 40 Russian bombers in what the country's security service says is a large-scale special operation aimed at destroying enemy bomber aircraft. Ukraine's released this footage, which it says shows a drone attack at the Belaya Air Base in Siberia. and on the footage, which I don't believe we are able to actually show you at the moment, but you can see explosions visible with smoke rising. Reports suggest other aircraft have been attacked at the Olenia Air Base near Murmansk.
All right, Dave, thank you. Breaking news this morning. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office and the Hickory Police Department on the scene of a mass shooting with 12 people reported shot. One of those victims, we understand, has died. Another in critical condition. Several other people remain hospitalized. You're looking live right now in the area where the shooting took place in southwest Catawba County, not far from Charlotte. Investigators from both the departments, along with special agents with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations, again, on the scene of this mass shooting, attempting to establish a motive and identify those responsible. No word if this is active in terms of the shooting situation now. We will, of course, continue to follow this. No arrests, we understand, have been made at this time, and we will update you here on CBS 17 on air as well as CBS17.com.
Shalom Family, this is Sistah ChaYah the elect with the Melchizedek precept of the day. It's from the Third Testament, chapter 31, titled Redemption and Eternal Salvation. Many men have accepted the idea that all the tears of this world have been caused by the sins of its first inhabitants, and in their clumsiness in interpreting the parable have come to say that Christ came to wash the stain with his blood. If this affirmation were true, why, in spite of that already consummated sacrifice, would men continue to sin and to suffer? Christ came to this earth to teach men the road to perfection, a road he pointed out with his life, his words, and his deeds. Amen.